With an original script written by the director Dan Gilroy, Nightcrawler was released in 2014. Surprisingly, it was actually the first feature script Gilroy, brother of Tony Gilroy, ever wrote on his own. Knowing that producers wouldn't have any preconceived notions about his writing, he took that opportunity to break almost every rule of screenwriting when writing this movie. The script contains no scene headings, is constantly changing font sizes and typefaces, and contains pages full of decals and images to establish the visuals. It's a fascinating screenplay to read simply on its own, at times feeling much more like a comic book than it does a film script. Luckily, however, the risk he took on this style paid off, and he was able to pull not only Jake Gyllenhaal as the lead, but Robert Elswit behind the camera and James Newton Howard on the music, two legends in their own right, all for his debut feature. And all four of these players came with their A-game. Gyllenhaal, one of the most accomplished actors of his generation, gives arguably the greatest performance of his career in this movie. And Robert Elswit, a longtime PTA collaborator, is able to shoot the city of LA, a city that's been shot thousands of times in 1,000 different movies, in such a unique and standout way, showing us a side of the city that we've never really seen captured on film. The film follows Lou Bloom, an unemployed sociopath who steals scrap metal for the pennies he can get for it. It's not until Lou, while he's out on one of these nightly scavenges, stumbles upon a grisly LA accident that he finds what he thinks can turn his life around. After observing a man filming the accident with the intent to sell it to the local news station, Lou finds himself enthralled, thus beginning his violent journey into the world of nightcrawling. One way Gilroy has described the film is as the birth of a cinematographer. Lou falls in love with the camera, with framing, with the setting up of shots. It's not really a hard metaphor to believe, a filmmaker making a movie about the birth of a filmmaker. But if we step back a bit, we can see that there's really a lot more going on in this story. Lou Bloom starts to film unemployed, and we can see how much he's struggling to find consistent work in a new world of labor. 2014 marked the start of a new economy, one based on unpaid internships and gig work. Young people could no longer simply go out and find a nice permanent job after graduating, but were instead becoming forced to find either small, short-time jobs or go without pay in exchange for getting their foot in the door.
How about an internship then? A lot of young people are taking unpaid positions to get a foot in the door. That's something I'd be willing to do.
I'm not hiring a fucking thief.
When it came to this new world of labor, it took a certain kind of person that pushed themselves above the rest and find a real success, and the character of Lou is a prime example of that type of person. Lou represents the lengths one has to be willing to go to in order to succeed in this country, and the actions they have to be willing to take. You have to detach yourself from others' feelings and hold yourself far above anyone else. You have to be okay with your own success, meaning others can't possibly succeed. And it's because of these characteristics that Lou Bloom does indeed find great success. Importantly though, we see that money really isn't the prime motivation for Lou. He might put up the facade that it is, constantly demanding higher prices for his work, but better pay isn't really what he's after. In fact, much like drug kingpin Walter White, Lou Bloom has a different fascination.
Jesse, you asked me if I was in the meth business or the money business. Neither. I'm in the empire business.
We can see Lou use violence in the same way Walter White does to accomplish his goals as well. Lou doesn't just want to put his competition out of business, he wants them gone, permanently. He doesn't just want more opportunities for sales, he wants to prove that he's superior, and he's willing to go to as extreme lengths as possible in order to do so. He lacks any sort of empathy or care for others, and simply sees them as a means to get ahead, or an obstacle standing in his way. Nightcrawler doesn't just teach us that this is one way of succeeding, but that it's the only way. You have to be willing to push others down, to shove them into the dirt, if you want to give yourself the chance of success. That doesn't only mean screwing over the competition, but the people working for you as well. The character of Rick in this film represents the grunt worker, the low-level associates that get the burnt end of the stick so their superiors can win. As Lou strives to grow his business, he realizes he needs a Rick, someone to do the little things. But as soon as Rick becomes a liability, just a little more trouble than he's worth, Lou trashes him like he's anyone else. Again, this isn't just a specific case scenario, this is a requirement. Jeff Bezos couldn't be a billionaire without the sea of mistreated warehouse workers underneath him. One simply can't exist without the other. It's the same way Heisenberg can't exist without his Captain Cook. A predator needs its prey.